So get this. I was thinking about the microbiome for a little bit, right? So I've been really thinking about Stephen Gundry's work. And it's funny because a lot of people don't really address the microbiome like it is, or the whole iome, or whatever the fuck they say for the whole body. But I never really thought of it like this. Like, I understood the importance of having a lot of good gut bacteria. But the part that didn't really make a lot of, I don't want to say it didn't make sense to me, but something I didn't really think about was the other systems in your body, like the other microorganism areas that we don't pay any attention to. So I was starting to think about it. It's like, okay, so one of our biggest issues that we end up having for like skin conditions and stuff is probably like, yeah, I know the skin's absorbable and you got to watch out for the kind of soaps and shit you use. But I started thinking about it. It's just like, why are we so afraid of the bacteria on our skin? Like, just like with the microbiome, you've got like all these organisms on your skin, and you've got good guys and you got bad guys. So the idea is, just like taking an antibiotic would be detrimental to your overall health. I mean, such as some situations you need to do that, but I personally avoid those like the plague unless there's a serious complication. Like, for example, I needed to take an antibiotic because I had like this big bulging thing outside of my face for like a tooth infection, and I wasn't eating purely, so I'm not surprised that bullshit happened. But that's a situation where it's just like it got into the muscle, so it's just like, am I gonna really try to just do it, naturopathically? Probably not. I just took note and went ahead and did my best to try to get my microbiome back and ready. But so here's the thing I really want to get into, though. We're talking about the mouth. I was thinking about just like, okay, what's natural is best, and I don't mean like, oh, arsenic is not man-made, it's natural, that's good for you. More like natural practices and habits, and I'm thinking about like the diet of people. And then I started thinking about like weird things that we do, like, people didn't used to hand wash and fucking use Dove soap all over their damn body and fucking weird shampoos and shit. So the whole idea of even like bathing in general, it's just like, I think we get ourselves into this weird situation, right? We eat bullshit foods, it expresses through our glands, that terrible odor that's produced is because you've got terrible bacteria living on you, and then all you're doing is, your solution is kill all the bacteria and then end up not being in a better state of health. So I thought about this for the skin, and I thought about this for the mouth, because brushing your teeth is very unnatural. And I was starting to look up, because I was just like, I'm pretty fucking sure that we can just regrow our teeth or remineralize. But there's got to be certain elements in place, like you got to be able to, have the nutrients and be able to like have the supplies to do it. So I'm thinking, I'm eating a pretty good diet right now, from what I understand. I'm following like the Gundry's diet plan. The only thing I'm eating in the morning is quinoa, but I am pressure cooking it, so it's just like, I don't think that's causing me a lot of issues. But by the way, I've never had any issues. I'm just saying, like, I want to keep it as pure as possible. I'm eating cilantro every single day. I'm eating just a bunch of greens, legitimately. I should probably cook some of them, because I'm finding out that there's a higher risk for people who eat just raw vegetables for Parkinson's later on. But, we'll figure that out as we come to it. I'll end up cooking some foods and then keeping some stuff pure as I try to figure that out. But I know I'm eating pretty well. So my next question was like, well, if you eat perfectly, then what's to say that your mouth health isn't going to be pristine and you don't need to brush your teeth? That's a pretty scary thought. So I don't want to necessarily not brush my teeth just to see what happens. But I do have some cavities right now, and I'm going to do some tests and see. I'm going to try some things and see if I can't regrow that before going to the dentist. Or like try to get rid of the cavities naturally, because I've heard about this stuff in the past. This isn't somebody listening to it without any perspective from the outside would be like, that's fucking retarded. Why would we have dentists and so forth? You know, if that were real, then I would have known about it, or somebody would have known about it, or we would have been told about it. Well, that's not how that shit works. You gotta take it back to the point where life wasn't absolutely shit because we didn't have stuff like plumbing and stuff. Although plumbing wouldn't even be an issue if we ate properly either, you know. Our poop would be good enough for the soil. But, you know, we have all those weird things that we end up doing, so fuck it. I mean, I don't expect people to eat a pure diet, you know, once sugar was introduced and fucking all these fucking baked goods and shit. Hell no. So we gotta treat the poop as a toxic waste. So that was a good thing, I believe, since we wouldn't be able to conquer that other battle for the longevity of human beings and stuff, you know. Also, like washing surfaces and stuff. Yeah, whatever. I get it. You know, we've put ourselves into a situation where we have to do this, but in a perfect world, we would never have to. But, you know what? It was just a suspicion, and I started looking up, and sure enough, it's always these small YouTube channels that I find. One guy talking about oral health, and he's specifically talking about how the Chinese noticed a correlation between young children and, like, you know, the elderly. It's just like as you age, you produce less saliva. Well, does it have something to do with longevity? Well, turns out, because I was thinking about like the microbiome and, like, you know, what keeps the bacteria healthy up there. And there is very specific bacteria in your mouth that are supposed to exist that do repair enamel, even though they say it's impossible, and remineralize teeth. So this blew my mind, because I'm thinking like, okay, well, it didn't blow my mind because I've kind of known about this shit. But it's just like, it makes sense. It's just like, if you're going around not brushing your teeth, which obviously primitive man did not do, it does not make sense that if your teeth would naturally erode, that this system would work at all. Like, if they didn't brush their teeth because it wasn't a process that they felt to do. I mean, maybe, I mean, the other thing is, you know, they weren't formally brushing their teeth. They were just using a lot of, like, eating a lot of tubers and green leafy vegetables weren't detrimental to their mouth biome. And probably scraped off all the stuff, but that made me think, like, okay, well, that means, what about all this bullshit, like with the fluoride and other stuff that we have inside of these little tubes of toothpaste that we're putting in our mouth and scrubbing-dubbing around, like, you know, we fucking own the place. The hell are these little bugs, good or bad? So, I saw one doctor, and he was talking about these Chinese people, and how, with the saliva, he has a technique he's talking about. He's just like, gather all the saliva in your mouth. And I actually tried this, and I was actually pretty amazed. So you gather the saliva in your mouth, and you leave it. You build it up by contract. You know, you have to pretty much get a loogie if you want to. And we're not talking about like the bullshit, you know, like phlegm and whatever. There's a distinction between that. But, you know, get up your saliva and swish it around your mouth for a little while. And what's very interesting is it will give you fresher breath and help you with this process, because you are able to create a perfect environment for that microbiome inside of your mouth, and by doing so, able to do things like healing your teeth and so forth. I don't have too much time to talk about it. I want to leave a link, but I'll probably forget about it. But just look it up. Just look up about the mouth biome, or mouth probiotics. I believe that's what it's called. So just check it out.